They used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.
Good morning. Welcome back to Crazy Joe's Concession Stand. I'm Crazy Joe. And today we are going to talk about another physical media release, Season 2 of Star Trek Prodigy. Season 2 of Star Trek Prodigy now available on Blu-ray and DVD, wherever you get your physical media. This show was in July released to Netflix, and all the episodes dropped at once. And fortunately, it did get a physical media release. A lot of Netflix originals do not get a physical media release, but fortunately, Season 2 of Star Trek Prodigy did. Star Trek Prodigy is a Star Trek series that was created as a kids series, a Star Trek series for kids that was a co-production with Nickelodeon. Originally, the episodes in Season 1 aired on Paramount Plus, and then they would air later on Nickelodeon. Unfortunately, Paramount Plus canceled the show between seasons, but Season 2 was already in production. So since Season 2 was already being produced, even though it had been canceled by Paramount Plus, they were able to sell the show, and Netflix picked it up. So you can now watch both seasons on Netflix. But I think Star Trek Prodigy is the perfect example for why physical media is important. Because, look, I got the first season here. The first season was split into two releases, Part 1 and Part 2 of Season 1. They didn't do that with Season 2. Season 2, all of it was released on one Blu-ray set. But the first season, they cut into two seasons. Season 1, episode 1 through 16, or 1 through 10. And episodes 11 through 20 of Season 1. And for a while, when this got pulled off of Paramount Plus, if you didn't own physical media, you couldn't watch it. It wasn't available anywhere else. So this Star Trek series, for a brief moment in time, was not streaming. The only way you could watch it was if you had the physical media. And, you know, that tells you how important. If you love Star Trek, you're going to want to own this. So Season 2, fortunately, came out again on physical media, Blu-ray here. And this time they didn't split it up. All 20 episodes of Season 2 are on one Blu-ray set. Now, let me show you how this is split up here. First of all, you get a slip sleeve, same artwork underneath. There are two special features on here. It's a little light on special features. One special feature you get is a short one called Producing Prodigy, The Legacy, where they talk about how Star Trek Legacy or Star Trek Prodigy relates to the other Star Trek shows, specifically Voyager and The Next Generation, and how this show really, really does pick up on the legacy of those previous shows. It's in many ways, Prodigy is a sequel series to Voyager. The characters of Janeway, the emergency holographic doctor, and Chakotay are all regular characters on Prodigy. So if you were a Voyager fan, this is kind of a Voyager follow-up. And that's a very short feature, the Legacy. But there's another one called The Odyssey of Prodigy. That's a much, much longer documentary that talks, I say much longer than Legacy. Legacy is very short. The Odyssey is maybe about 15-20 minutes. It's much longer, and it gets into Season 2 of Prodigy. Now look, this is split up into multiple discs. They come layered, so you can see this is Season 2 disc 1 over here. I think that's the only disc on the one side. Yeah, this side only has one disc. But this side here has two discs. This is disc 3 on top, and there's disc 2 underneath. Disc 3 is on top because I was watching the special features. Both of the discs, they very, very conveniently list the episode titles right on the disc. I always like it when they do that. It makes it very, very nice and easy. So there you go. Right now, you can get the complete series of Star Trek Prodigy on Blu-ray. There's 3 volumes, 2 seasons, and it's all available on physical now with this release of Season 2. Will there be a third season of Star Trek Prodigy? I hope so. I really hope so. We're waiting to hear if Netflix is going to pick it up for another season. I'll tell you, My gut tells me it doesn't look good. We haven't heard anything yet. These dropped in July. They've had since July. They still haven't announced it's being picked up for a third. So my gut tells me it's not looking good, but I don't know. Maybe there will be a third season. I will tell you this. I think Star Trek Prodigy has been a victim of demographics. What do I mean when I say that? Well, it's a Netflix show. It's a show that was intended for children. And I think that has kind of hurt them, because I don't know that this show became as popular with young viewers as they hoped. Like, they really wanted this to be like an entry-level Star Trek that will bring the kids into Star Trek. And I don't know that they succeeded on that level. I don't hear a whole lot of kids talking about Star Trek Prodigy. Well, the problem there is it's good Star Trek, but I don't hear the adults talking about it either, because I think the adults assume it's just a kids show. And I'm here to tell you, as a guy who's 48 years old, this is not just a show for kids. If you like Star Trek, this is a show for you. Even though it was intended as a children's show, and it is a co-partnership with Nickelodeon, never writes down to the audience. It's smart Star Trek, and it really, really does lean into the legacy of Star Trek. Like I said, it's very much a sequel series to Voyager. Janeway, Chakotay, the Doctor, all characters on this show. And there's a few Next Generation characters who play an important role. I don't want to say too much, because one of those Next Generation characters plays a major role in season 2. And if I were to explain that to you further, it would be a bit of a spoiler. And I don't want to get into that. A character who appears in both seasons is Jellicoe. Remember Captain Jellicoe, who was the captain of the Enterprise in Chain of Command? He's an admiral now. Admiral Jellicoe appears here. Very famous Star Trek fan, Jason Alexander from Seinfeld. He was a huge Star Trek fan. He does a voice of a character on this show. He's a doctor who is a Tellarite. And the whole voice cast is great on this show. You've got the character of Gwen. She is voiced by Ella Purnell, who I believe is on Fallout now. I haven't seen Fallout yet. You've got Jason Mantzoukas, who's from the How Did This Get Made podcast. He's the voice of this Tellarite character, Jacob Pogue. It's a good voice cast here. And it's a very, very appealing show. I really like this. And like I said, I'm 48 years old, but this show is very, very much tied to the Star Trek we know and love. It is a sequel series to Voyager and Next Generation to a little bit of a degree. So if you are a Star Trek fan, don't just think like, well, this is a kid's show. No, this is a show for Star Trek fans. Doesn't matter how old you are. You could be 70, you could be 80. If you know Star Trek, if you love Star Trek, this is a show for you. And I think it's a shame that a lot of Star Trek fans have been passing on it because they assume it's a kid's show. But there you go. You can pick this up now, Star Trek Prodigy, wherever you get your Blu-rays. Season 2 is now available. I want to thank our friends at Paramount for sending me this review copy. And, you know, I'm a hardcore Star Trek fan, and I'm happy to have this in my collection because you never know. You never know when it's going to get pulled off Netflix. We saw it happen before, man. It happened with season 1. Season 1 was on Paramount Plus, then it wasn't on Paramount Plus, and then now it's on Netflix, but for a while it wasn't on Netflix. So you just never know. If you love Star Trek, back it up, man. Back it up with a physical copy. All right, everyone. Until next time, keep wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas with the plastic feet. Keep wearing those pajamas. Tell everyone you meet. Keep wearing those pajamas with the back door flap. Keep wearing those pajamas. Don't open it, it's a trap. Oh no, it's a trap. Some people call them PJs, some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander adamas, but no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep wearing those pajamas. I know we're having fun. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now the song is done.